What if I told you that the key to soothing the persistent, nagging pain of your rheumatism isn't in a pill bottle, but rather hidden in plain sight, right inside your own kitchen pantry? It sounds almost too simple to be true, especially when you've endured the endless cycle of stiff mornings, swollen joints, and the frustrating feeling that your own body is at war with itself. You've likely tried everything: medications, physical therapy, perhaps even restrictive diets that cut out entire food groups. Yet, the inflammation, the pain, the exhaustion, it all remains a constant, unwelcome companion. But the culprit I'm referring to is not an exotic ingredient or a rare chemical. It's a food product so common, so deeply embedded in our modern food supply, that we consume it almost every single day without a second thought. An ingredient often disguised under the halo of being heart-healthy or a simple vegetable product. This is the story of how in seemingly innocent food, one you probably used to cook your last meal, could be the very thing quietly worsening your rheumatism. To understand how this is possible, we first need to briefly touch on what rheumatism truly is. The term itself is a bit of an umbrella, covering a range of conditions characterized by chronic inflammation and pain in the joints, muscles, and connective tissues. The most well-known of these is rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disease where the body's own immune system mistakenly attacks the lining of the joints, leading to painful swelling and, over time, bone erosion and joint deformity. But regardless of the specific diagnosis, the common thread weaving through all rheumatic conditions is one powerful and destructive force: inflammation. Inflammation is the body's natural response to injury or infection. It's a crucial part of healing, but in chronic conditions like rheumatism, this inflammatory response becomes dysregulated. It's like a fire alarm that never shuts off, constantly signaling danger and flooding your system with inflammatory molecules that cause damage to your own tissues. So, the logical goal for anyone suffering from rheumatism is to calm this fire. And this is where our diet plays a profoundly critical role. Food can either fuel the fire of inflammation or provide the resources to extinguish it. The innocent food I'm referring to is not sugar, red meat, or dairy, though these can certainly be problematic for some. The hidden culprit is a specific category of fats: industrial seed oils, often marketed under the broad and misleading term vegetable oil. These include oils like soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, and safflower oil. These oils are practically everywhere. They are in your salad dressings, your mayonnaise, your margarine. They are used to fry the foods you get at restaurants. They are a primary ingredient in baked goods, crackers, chips, and nearly every processed food you can find on supermarket shelves, even the ones labeled healthy or vegan. Their rise to dominance in the American diet is a relatively recent phenomenon, beginning in the early 20th century and exploding after World War II. Driven by technological advancements that allowed for the extraction of oil from cheap agricultural surplus crops like corn and soybeans, and propelled by marketing campaigns that positioned them as a healthier alternative to traditional fats like butter and lard, these oils took over our kitchens. But here is the critical problem. These oils are extraordinarily high in a type of polyunsaturated fat called omega-6 fatty acids, specifically linoleic acid. Now, omega-6 is not inherently evil. It is an essential fatty acid, meaning our bodies can't produce it and we must get it from our diet. However, the issue lies in the balance, or rather, the extreme imbalance, between omega-6 and another type of essential fat, omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in sources like fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts. For much of human history, our ancestors consumed these fats in a ratio of roughly 1:1 or 2:1, omega-6 to omega-3. Today, thanks to the flood of industrial seed oils in our food supply, the average modern diet has a ratio that is drastically skewed, often as high as 20:1 or even 25:1. This dramatic imbalance has profound consequences for inflammation in the body, and this is the core of our discussion. Both omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids are precursors to signaling molecules called eicosanoids. Think of these molecules as the field commanders of your immune system, directing your body's inflammatory response. Here's the crucial difference. Omega-3s are converted into largely anti-inflammatory eicosanoids. They are the peacemakers, telling the body to calm down, resolve the inflammation, and begin the healing process. On the other hand, the omega-6 fatty acids abundant in industrial seed oils are converted into powerfully pro-inflammatory eicosanoids like prostaglandin E2 and leukotriene B4. These are the aggressors. They tell your body to ramp up the inflammatory attack, increase pain sensitivity, and constrict blood vessels. When your diet is flooded with an overwhelming amount of omega-6 from these oils, you are essentially providing your body with a massive arsenal of raw materials to produce these pro-inflammatory commanders. The system becomes overloaded. For a person with a predisposition to or an active case of rheumatism, this is like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. The very biological pathways that are supposed to protect you are now being hyperstimulated to attack your own joints with greater intensity. The pain, swelling, and stiffness you feel are a direct result of this molecular warfare, a war that is being heavily funded by that innocent bottle of vegetable oil and the processed foods it hides in. It's a silent, continuous sabotage of your efforts to feel better. The extraction process for these oils also introduces other potential issues. It often involves high heat, high pressure, and industrial solvents like hexane. This harsh processing can cause these delicate polyunsaturated fats to become oxidized or damaged before they even make it into the bottle. Consuming oxidized fats can create oxidative stress in the body, another key driver of inflammation and cellular damage, further compounding the problem for anyone with a rheumatic condition. This information can be unsettling, especially when you realize how pervasive these oils truly are. But it's also empowering. It gives you a specific, tangible target in your fight against chronic pain. It's not about feeling guilty, it's about becoming aware. As we continue, we will delve deeper into how you can identify and avoid these oils, and what you can use instead to help your body find balance again. If this is already opening your eyes to a new perspective on your health, consider subscribing to our channel. You won't want to miss the crucial information coming next as we uncover the path to calming the storm within.
Now that we've pulled back the curtain on the profound inflammatory impact of industrial seed oils, you might be feeling a mix of clarity and perhaps a little overwhelm. It's one thing to understand the science, it's another entirely to navigate a world where these oils are the default ingredient in the vast majority of our food. The challenge is real because these oils are masters of disguise. They hide in foods we perceive as healthy, lurk in our favorite snacks, and form the foundation of most restaurant cooking. But this is not a message of despair. It is a call to action armed with knowledge. In this next part, we are going to walk through the practical, step-by-step guide to reclaiming your kitchen and, by extension, your health. We'll learn how to become a food detective, uncovering these hidden fats and making conscious, empowering choices that starve the fire of inflammation rather than fuel it. The single most important skill you can develop in this journey is becoming a proficient label reader. The ingredients list is where the truth resides, far away from the flashy health claims on the front of the package. At first, it might seem tedious, but it will quickly become second nature. You must turn over every box, box, and bag. Here's what you're looking for: soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, also known as rapeseed oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, and rice bran oil. Also, be wary of vague terms like vegetable oil or vegetable oil blend, which almost always consist of one or more of these high omega-6 oils. The order of ingredients matters. They are listed by weight, so if you see one of these oils listed as one of the first few ingredients, you know the product is saturated with it. Let's talk about where they hide, because this is often the most shocking revelation. First on the list is salad dressing. It's the ultimate health food disguise. You prepare a beautiful, nutrient-dense salad only to douse it in a dressing whose primary ingredient is inflammatory soybean or canola oil. Even the light, fat-free, or olive oil vinaigrettes are suspect. Often, they contain only a token amount of olive oil for marketing purposes, while the bulk of the oil is still cheap seed oil. The same goes for mayonnaise, aiolis, and other creamy condiments. Next up, baked goods and crackers. From bread and bagels to cookies, cakes, and granola bars, seed oils are used to create a soft texture and extend shelf life. That seemingly innocent package of crackers in your pantry likely contains a significant dose of inflammatory fat. Even high-end artisanal breads can use canola oil. The world of vegan and plant-based products is another major source. People often switch to these products for health reasons, but many plant-based butters and margarines are made from a blend of palm, soybean, and canola oil. Vegan cheeses and meat substitutes are frequently held together and flavored with sunflower or canola oil. You might be avoiding dairy or meat, but you could be inadvertently swapping them for a source of chronic inflammation. And then there's the giant, almost unavoidable source, restaurant food. The vast majority of restaurants, from fast food to fine dining, use large jugs of cheap, refined vegetable oil blends for their frying, sautéing, and grilling. Those crispy French fries, that seared fish, those roasted vegetables, they are almost certainly coated in an oil that is working against your body's efforts to heal. It's a sobering thought, but a necessary one to truly grasp the scale of the issue. So, what do you use instead? This is the empowering part. You have fantastic, delicious, and truly healthy options to choose from. Let's build your new anti-inflammatory pantry. For your everyday cooking fat, your go-to should be high-quality oils that are stable and have a healthier fatty acid profile. At the top of the list is extra virgin olive oil. It is the king of healthy fats for a reason. Rich in a monounsaturated fat called oleic acid, it's been shown to be anti-inflammatory. Crucially, high-quality extra virgin olive oil contains powerful antioxidant compounds called polyphenols, like oleocanthal, which has been found to work on the same inflammatory pathways as ibuprofen, but without the side effects. Use it for low to medium heat sautéing and be generous with it as a finishing oil for drizzling over salads, vegetables, and soups. For high heat cooking, like searing or roasting, avocado oil is an excellent choice. It's also rich in monounsaturated fats and has a very high smoke point, meaning it remains stable at high temperatures and is less likely to oxidize. Coconut oil is another great option, particularly for baking or medium heat cooking. It's rich in saturated fats, specifically medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs, which the body can use readily for energy. Despite decades of misinformation, we now understand that natural saturated fats from sources like coconut are not the enemy we once thought they were, especially when it comes to inflammation. Finally, don't be afraid of animal fats from healthy sources. Butter and ghee, clarified butter, from grass-fed cows are wonderful for cooking. Compared to butter from grain-fed cows, grass-fed butter is richer in anti-inflammatory omega-3s and contains vitamins like K2, which plays a role in bone and cardiovascular health. Tallow from beef and lard from pork from pasture-raised animals are also very heat-stable and are what our ancestors cooked with for centuries before the advent of industrial seed oils. The most effective way to control your fat intake is to start making things from scratch. This might sound daunting, but it can be simple and incredibly rewarding. A homemade salad dressing takes less than 2 minutes to make. Combine extra virgin olive oil, a vinegar of your choice, like apple cider or balsamic, a pinch of salt, pepper, and maybe a little Dijon mustard or honey. Shake it in a jar, and you have a delicious, healthy dressing free from inflammatory oils and preservatives. You can make your own mayonnaise with avocado oil and an immersion blender in just a few minutes. When you bake, replace the vegetable oil called for in recipes with melted butter or coconut oil. Each small change you make is a victory. It's a direct deposit into your health account and a withdrawal from the inflammation that causes you pain. Now I want to hear from you. Based on what we've discussed, take a look in your pantry or fridge. What was the most surprising food you found that contained one of these inflammatory seed oils? Share your discoveries in the comments below. Your finding could be the very thing that helps someone else on this journey identify a hidden source of their own pain. Let's help each other build this awareness. If these practical tips and swaps are already making you feel more in control of your health journey, imagine what else you could learn. This is just one piece of the puzzle. Click that subscribe button and join our community, because having the right information is the most powerful tool you can have in your arsenal to fight back against rheumatism and reclaim your vitality.
By now, you are armed with the knowledge to identify and eliminate one of the most significant, yet hidden, dietary drivers of inflammation. You've learned how to become a detective in the grocery aisle and a conscious creator in your own kitchen. But avoiding the bad is only half of the battle. The other, equally important half is to intentionally and strategically increase your intake of the good. The ultimate goal is not just to remove the fuel for the fire of inflammation, but to actively supply your body with the powerful, soothing resources it needs to extinguish the flames for good. This is how we shift the balance of power within our own cells, turning our diet from a potential adversary into our most powerful ally in the fight against rheumatic pain. This is where we complete the picture and build a lasting foundation for health. The key to this rebalancing act lies in tipping the scales away from the pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids and back towards the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. While we've drastically reduced the omega-6 influx by removing industrial seed oils, we now need to boost our omega-3 reserves. There are two main types of omega-3s we need to focus on: the long-chain fatty acids EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, and the short-chain fatty acid ALA, alpha-linolenic acid. The most potent, biologically active forms are EPA and DHA, which are found primarily in fatty, cold-water fish. Think of the acronym SMASH: sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. These fish are not only rich in omega-3s, but are also typically lower on the food chain, meaning they have less accumulation of mercury and other contaminants. Aiming to include 2 to 3 servings of these fish per week can have a profound impact. EPA is a superstar when it comes to producing powerful anti-inflammatory molecules, directly competing with the pro-inflammatory pathways fueled by excess omega-6. DHA is also crucial. It is a primary structural component of your brain and the retina of your eye, and it also gives rise to protective molecules called resolvins and protectants, which, as their names suggest, help to resolve inflammation and protect tissues from damage. Of course, not everyone can or wants to eat fish regularly. This is where plant-based omega-3s come into play. Sources like freshly ground flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts are rich in ALA. ALA is beneficial and does have its own anti-inflammatory properties, but it's important to understand that for it to become the powerhouses EPA and DHA, our bodies must convert it. This conversion process is notoriously inefficient in humans, with some studies suggesting that less than 5% of ALA is converted to EPA and less than 0.5% is converted to DHA. This means that while these plant-based sources are a fantastic and healthy addition to your diet, relying on them as your sole source of omega-3s might not be enough to create the significant shift needed to combat the inflammation of rheumatism. This is where supplementation can be a highly effective strategy. A high-quality fish oil supplement can provide a concentrated dose of EPA and DHA. For those following a vegan or vegetarian diet, algae oil supplements are a superb alternative, as algae is the original source from which fish get their omega-3s in the first place. When choosing a supplement, look for one that has been third-party tested for purity and potency and is in a triglyceride form for better absorption. As always, it is essential to consult with your healthcare provider before beginning any new supplement regimen to ensure it's appropriate for your individual health needs. The benefits of making this profound dietary shift will ripple out far beyond your joints. When you lower systemic inflammation, you are addressing a root cause of not just rheumatism, but a host of other chronic conditions. The same mechanisms that soothe the fire in your joints also help protect your cardiovascular system. These healthy fats can improve cholesterol profiles, lower blood pressure, and support the health of your arteries. Your brain will thank you too. Given that DHA is a major building block of brain tissue, optimizing your omega-3 intake can support cognitive function, improve mood, and may help protect against age-related cognitive decline. Many people who make this change report a surprising increase in energy levels and a general sense of well-being. This happens because your cells are finally getting the proper building blocks they need to function optimally, reducing the metabolic stress and damage that chronic inflammation causes. It's a full body reset, not just a temporary fix for a single symptom. It is crucial, however, to approach this journey with a mindset of patience and consistency. Years or even decades of a diet high in inflammatory oils have shaped the fatty acid composition of your cell membranes. Reversing this doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of replacement and rebalancing that can take weeks or even months. There will not be a magic moment of instant relief. Instead, you might notice subtle changes at first. Perhaps your mornings feel a little less stiff, or a flare-up seems less intense and doesn't last as long. This is progress. This is healing. Don't get discouraged if you don't feel a dramatic change in the first week. Trust the process. Every meal that you choose to cook with olive oil instead of canola oil, every time you snack on walnuts instead of crackers, every serving of salmon you add to your week, each one is a deliberate step towards a less painful and more vibrant life. This is not a diet of deprivation. It is a lifestyle of empowerment. So let's bring it all together. We've uncovered a powerful truth. The chronic, painful inflammation of rheumatism is being secretly aggravated by an innocent ingredient found everywhere in our modern diet: industrial seed oils high in omega-6. We learned that the key to fighting back is a two-pronged strategy. First, we must diligently remove these inflammatory oils by reading labels and choosing whole, unprocessed foods. Second, we must actively increase our intake of anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats from sources like fatty fish, seeds, and nuts, or through smart supplementation. This isn't a quick fix. It's a fundamental shift in how we nourish our bodies, a commitment to providing the resources for healing from the inside out. If you have found this information valuable and empowering, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps our channel reach more people who need to hear this message. Share this video with a friend, family member, or anyone you know who struggles with chronic pain and inflammation. You could change their life. And most importantly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss our future deep dives into health and wellness. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Here's to your health, your vitality, and a future with less pain.